In this lesson, we are going to be solving equations where we need to take a square root. So here's our first example. So all that you do is you just try to get this part by itself. Okay, so you take the number 7 to the other side, so it ends up becoming plus 7, and then that's going to end up giving you 380. Then to get the v squared by itself, you are going to divide by 10. So you're going to end up with v squared equals to 38. Then you take the square root on both sides, because what that does is it gets rid of this 2, okay? So on the left-hand side, you're going to end up with v, and then remember, when you take a square root, you just say plus and minus. There we go. And then you can go type in the square root of 38 on your calculator, and then your teacher might want you to leave the answer as the square root of 38, because it doesn't simplify, or your teacher might want you to leave it in decimal form, which would be 6.16 if you round that to 2 decimal places. Here's our next example. So these are quite easy, so we won't do too many of them. So we take the 10 over to the other side. Okay, and then where it became a plus, and then that becomes 216. To get the m by itself, you're just going to, well, the m squared by itself, you're going to divide both sides by 6. And so if you divide that by 6, you end up with 36, which is nice. And then you take a square root on both sides to get the m by itself. And so remember, the answer, whenever you take a square root, it'll always be the positive and the negative. Now the square root of 36 is 6. Here's our last example. So just try to get this by itself. I'm going to leave it on the left, but you can take it to the right if you wanted to, just because of that ugly negative. But there, you'll see we'll sort it out now. So you get negative 5a squared. This is going to be negative 50. Okay. And then you divide both sides by negative 5, just to get this a squared alone, right? So that's going to give us positive 10 on this side. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take the square root on both sides. And so that's going to give you positive and negative square root 10. Then you can go type that in on the calculator. And that actually just stays square root 10. But if your teacher wants the decimal instead, then it would be 3.16.